Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check.
When it comes to something as
Got to give the people what they want. Welcome to another edition of Power to the People show. Listen, it's a complicated show today. I am actually live and in living color at one of the unions, Martin Luther King celebration. So it's going to get a little noisy in here because we are in the banquet hall. So welcome to all of our audience in Buffalo and to the audience in Atlanta, Georgia, and to those of you who are watching us on social media. Hang with us because it is going to get a little noisy because people are going to be eating. I'm the keynote speaker today, and those of you who are watching me on Facebook, I have not lost my mind. I am in work clothes because this is a union party, and I'm going to be talking in my speech today about putting on our work clothes, keeping our work clothes on that you can't give up. Listen, I'm gonna go live to the phones because in the Buffalo area, we have the King celebration coming up at Kleinhans Music Hall, and I have the pleasure of having on the phone. So listen, share this video right now with somebody if you are on social media. If you are listening to us from radio, let somebody know that we are live and on the air. I have none other than Sister Bessie Patterson, who not only is the head of our city's Gospel Fest, but she also does our King celebration. Sister Patterson, are you there?
Yes, I am. How are you?
Good. Tell us about what's going on Sunday here in the city of Buffalo.
Oh, yes, the Martin Luther King Celebration Program. This is the 20th year that I have been hosting it, and I'm proud about that, number one, and the fact that it's at Kleinhans Music Hall at 430 Shop, and we have as our guest speaker none other than Congressman James Clyburn, legislator of South Carolina. And I've been wanting to get him here for some time, and I was able to get my good friend Tim Kennedy, Congressman Tim Kennedy, to help me. And we are successful in bringing him here as our keynote speaker. And I'm just on cloud now. It's just a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing, and we want people to be there. And I noticed you said sharp, so the date is set, the time is set, and what's
If they ask, tell them it's absolutely free.
stand by for us for just a second? We lost a little. We have a connection
You got us
problem,
back.
but I'm going to have you say all of that all over again as we reconnect. Hold on one second.
Ross, you got me back? Over on your end?
Not yet. Still saying you away.
Okay, hold on. So we just don't have video at the moment.
So we still have radio.
I'm waiting for.
All right. So we don't have anything.
The stream might be able to hear us.
All right. If those of you on the stream, just stay with us. This is a work in progress. This is what happens when you go remote.
Okay, hold on.
You got I'm sending another link or?
Nope.
Oh, hold up.
I got you.
All right, saying all right. Connected.
All right.
Radio.
So we are back, and we apologize for technical difficulties. But like in life, I mean, a lot of you didn't have a phone the other day. So if the big companies could fail, sometimes we fall short. So, Sister Patterson, we were talking about Klein Hands Music Hall Sunday with Representative Clyburn.
Still saying you away.
Hold on.
No, that's me. You were good.
Okay, with Representative Clyburn, and I was asking about the price, and you had given us how much it costs to get in. Can you tell us, and it's absolutely free, as you said, there are some sponsors that have sponsored the program, and who are some of those sponsors?
Oh, M&T Bank, we got Wegmans, the CMC, Connect Life, Waffle Radio, The Tabernacle, High Mop, and Attorney John Elmore, Mayor Sean Ryan, Councilmember Zanetta Everhart, Councilmember Leah Holton Hope, Councilmember Rashid Wyatt, Legislator Taisha St. Jean Todd, Legislator Lawrence Dupree, and the Health Center.
Wow. And those folks are the ones who have given money in order to keep this event free.
That's true. The Community Health Center. That was what I was trying to think of.
Community Health Center. Yes.
Yeah. Community Health Center. They're the ones that contribute money to keep this event going. And I appreciate that. But we will have a free will offering to people that just want to help, because it does take money when you're putting on events like this. And to let it be free with you trying to get sponsors to sponsor it, it's a lot of work, and we know people love to come, and they are going to give what they can for the offering, and just enjoy the entertainment, and the speaker, who is phenomenal, and we know of him, and we want to hear him like we would have Dr. Martin Luther King.
Well, I had the pleasure of having Representative Clyburn on the show on last week, and he is a phenomenal speaker, but he's also a phenomenal thinker, and the way that he thinks and the way he presents. And so I want to encourage people to come and to be a part of what is going to happen in Buffalo, New York. Is it going to be streamed in any way that other people in other cities are able to see it?
Yeah, we just decided that this week we're going to have it streamed, so people will be able to see it. And I make sure and say that because people here in Buffalo may stay home, and I don't want them to stay home. They want them to come out.
I
They
totally
want them to come out. So that's it. I shouldn't have even announced that.
totally understand.
Anyway,
Sunday is going down at Klein Hands Music Hall, Buffalo, New York, 4 p.m. sharp. Representative Clyburn, as the keynote speaker, will be heard. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you, too.
All right. Bye-bye.
And the beautiful thing about this week is the Bills are playing on Saturday. So, so she's not up against that event this week.
Yeah, I think last year, or in some years, we did have where the Bills were playing and people had to choose, unfortunately, between the Bills and between going to the celebration. So go to the celebration on this Sunday in Buffalo, New York. There's so many events happening in Atlanta and in the Atlanta market. And so at the end of the day, find some place to go and celebrate the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In Buffalo and in Atlanta. You know, some people, may think that there is no need now for activism, that there is no need now to stand up, but there is a great need to stand up for that which is right and that which is just. You're hearing the crowds in the background a little bit who are at the King celebration here at the Foundry in Buffalo, New York, again, where I'm keynote speaking. But I want to talk a little bit today about the dream and about what's most important now, and locally. And I'm going to be talking about this a little bit in the speech today. Locally, I was kind of upset today to wake up to the fact that St. Anne's Church, the building, was on fire, I guess yesterday or last night. And that there has been a demolition permit that has been issued to tear it down. Now, let me tell you and why this is so important, especially in a time like right now where we're talking about Dr. King. For those of you in Atlanta, you know the difference of well-kept neighborhoods and of neighborhoods that have been neglected. And St. Anne's in Buffalo was a huge Roman Catholic church that closed over a decade or more ago, has sat in disrepair, has not been sold, has not been repurposed, and it was in the district that I represented when I was on the council. And I fought really hard to keep that place up. And we got a big preservation community here, but here's the problem. In no other area, it sits in a black community, predominantly African-American community. It's sat with a fence around it. It's sat with rodents in it, and in a community that was predominantly African-American. You won't go in any other community in the city of Buffalo, and the same thing happens with Atlanta. You will not, there's certain communities in Atlanta that are pristine, and then there are communities in Atlanta that, it's like are abandoned by government. At the end of the day, St. Anne sat there, and now they're getting the Roman Catholic Church. No disrespect to the Roman Catholic Church, but the Roman Catholic Church has left several buildings in our community that have just been dilapidated. Where's preservation? Where is preservation now? Where are the preservationists that I've seen preservationists pick people's houses and say because it was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright we want to make this a preserved building. Where were the voices then?
And in that area, that was a huge parcel. There's the convent, the school. There's a bunch of buildings in there. But just down the street is another huge Roman Catholic church that's left abandoned with a gate around it that we had issues with, and the neighbors complained about that one. So I agree. If we're going to do it in one area, one neighborhood, and when people don't want it, it's like there's a push, boom. But then it's like buildings that need it. Crickets.
But I believe, and the receipts are there. It's because of the neighborhood that it's sat in. What's really wild is I just read an article like 2 days ago about them shuttering the building. Now you're shuttering the building, and all of a sudden there is a fire in that building, in that community. So now, of course, it will be torn down, but go over to Clarence Center, go over to Williamsville, go over to Amherst, and you will not see that same dilapidated type of building in those places like we see in the black community. As a matter of fact, our majority leader, I'm looking at her in line getting her food, and her mother's home is right there in that neighborhood. And those of you in the Atlanta market, Crystal People Stokes, who is an African-American woman who fought along with me to try to get the Roman Catholic Church to do something with that building, and it just did not occur. And so now here it is. And when we talk about fighting for justice, when we talk about fighting for what's right, it's about our neighborhoods, it's about our buildings, it's about all of that. Because at the end of the day, when we are concerned about the White House, when we are concerned about what this man is doing in the White House, we got to get our house in order.
And speaking about our keynote speaker, that's where he was talking about last week about we can focus on the shiny objects. We can focus on Venezuela, and our prayers are out to Minneapolis, because who knows what's getting ready to happen there. But if we're not focusing on the issues that affect us on an everyday basis, then the school board decisions happen without us. Housing issues happen without us. The economic development happens without us, and it just becomes repetitive, and we still don't have a seat at the table. This class I'm studying, it talked about, and there's a famous quote, that without an informed citizenry, public participation fails.
Absolutely. And this is the importance of having our own media. This is the importance of having our own, so that we are able to put out the information. St. Anne's is a travesty, but it's not the only travesty in our community. Right now, still on East Ferry in Buffalo, down from the church, there's another former Roman Catholic church that has sat for, I would say, at least 20 years, and it's sat empty, it's sat dilapidated. Now, I can't put that all on the Catholic Church, because that building was sold to several different congregations. As a matter of fact, in all transparency, I tried to buy the building at one point, and we were going to repurpose the building, but because of deed issues, we were not able to secure a purchase of the building in our neighborhood. When we talk about justice, it is beyond it. You know, maybe now we can sit wherever we want to on the bus. Maybe now all those type of things. But at the end of the day, our communities are still suffering from neglect. And you know, I give props to Nate Boyd, who is local here in our community, who has been fighting for housing justice and staying on the wall, because this is not, you know, when we talk about this whole a day of service, I'm sorry, y'all can do the day of service all you want to. I'm not painting another community center for one day to give people who feel guilty, because some folks feel guilty that they haven't done anything all year long for justice. And if you think one day of going to paint a community center, one day of going to do service somewhere is going to change the situation, you're wrong. And this is what I don't understand. And you can say whatever you want to. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why on the King, and let me say it, because I'm going to say it in the speech in a few minutes. Yep. I promote the day of service. I am not against it, so I don't want anybody thinking that I'm throwing shade on the day of service, because they're doing a day of service here locally. Right. Big ups to all of those who are doing it, and I get it. This is my only point. On Indigenous People Day, we ain't doing no day of service. Nope. On Veterans Day, we ain't doing no day of service. It's a whole lot of days that I could talk about on whatever recognition of culture, of people, of the struggle. On Labor Day, we ain't doing no day. On Labor Day,
we ain't doing it.
We're not doing a day of service. Why on the King holiday I got to do a day of service?
Well, I got to work on a day honoring us.
Let me tell y'all what I'm doing on the day of service, on the King holiday. I am doing nothing.
I'm gonna have a dream.
I'm having a dream and a double dream, and hopefully not a nightmare, but I'm not painting.
No.
Because at the end of the day, Dr. King, it was not just about painting community centers and sweeping up gymnasiums. It was about justice, and it was about justice and fighting for justice on a daily basis. And that's what we have to make sure that this day of caring, maybe this needs to be a day of reflection, a day of preparation, a day of scheduling, a day of looking at what meetings that we need to go to and be a part of, instead of this one day for those who are not doing anything all week long to feel good about themselves.
I completely agree, and you know, because there's still a couple states that don't even honor it. So you have this dichotomy where it is you should be doing something, but like you said, I don't need to be doing strenuous laborious work.
Absolutely.
Like you said, if we're planning that might be the day to talk and sit and have the Black agenda conversations. It could be, like you said, a future planning. Okay, this is happening in DC. We're facing midterm elections.
Absolutely.
How do we prepare our agenda, like Dr. King did, to go to the kingmakers and have that conversation?
Absolutely. Listen, I have one of our state, come on in, our state representatives, and she all dressed up. She's at the event. You know, we're live.
Sometimes you tell people that.
I know, we live. You look good. April Baskin.
Bishop, Happy New Year.
Listen, we're talking about the King celebration. I told him I'm going in the keynote in a few minutes. Yeah, so I'm in my work clothes.
Like
yeah, I'm in my work clothes.
I like it.
So the King Day is coming up, and I know you're doing a lot. Matter of fact, congratulations. I understand you are now the chairman of one of the most powerful committees in the state of New York.
Well, yes, thank you, Bishop.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the King celebrate. What do you think is? She was in line, by the way, everybody.
Okay.
She was in line.
I was trying to make sure
get her food, and she was on the phone. She's a mother. She's a representative. What do you think is one of the most, because there's many issues that are facing the African American community right now that we need to be paying attention to?
Thank you, and thank you for acknowledging that God has opened up a door for me to serve on as chair of economic development. That is my passion. That is my core. It is ownership. And so as I look at how economic development impacts the residents of New York, I believe that when Black people own their neighborhoods, meaning own their homes, when they own their businesses, when you own your car, when you have ownership, you can make decisions about what happens around you.
Wow.
When you do not, other people are making those decisions for you. So the reason why I prayed and have been asking Leader Stuart Cousins, to consider me for this chairmanship.
You wanted this.
Oh, yes.
Wow,
yes.
I'm loving this.
Yes, I've been asking for a while, and it's the same reasons that I advocated for small businesses to be included in the new stadium deal. It's the same reasons why I am right now working with Commissioner Hope Knight at ESD and making sure that Tesla does right by their inclusion from the plant. Like, I believe that we have to empower Black people to have ownership so that they can make decisions about their community and their lives.
I am really, listen, you went to Albany and you didn't go to just sit. You went and said to the chairwoman, I want this.
Yeah.
And you got it.
Yeah, I did.
And you only been there how long?
1 year.
You've been there 1 year and now are chairing one of the most powerful committees that can benefit our community.
Yes.
That's what I call power to the people.
Thank you, Bishop.
Now, I'm not going to take up more time.
Okay.
I know you got to eat.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you in
God
Albany.
bless. God bless.
What a blessing that she asked for it. And this one, we talk about power. And we talk about, some people talk about, how dirty politics is. It's not politics is dirty. What's dirty are some people who are in politics.
Absolutely.
But when you elect people who go to Albany, who go to D.C., we talked to Bessie Patterson earlier. And of course, one of the persons, if not the person, who helped her to secure a Representative Clyburn for the King celebration was Tim Kennedy.
Absolutely.
We should not just expect, we should demand our representatives to represent us.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, the only reason we got resident parking in the fruit belt locally here in Buffalo, and in Atlanta there are many areas that have resident parking. For those of you in the Atlanta market, we only have one area, and that was in the area that I represented, was because we worked together. I couldn't do it. I had to work with, now here's the wild thing, because I had to work with state, with local, not federal so much, but unions.
The unions.
Because when we put out so those of you in the Atlanta market, here's the deal. So we have what's called a medical campus that is full of hospitals, and but the residents who are near it couldn't park in front of their houses, couldn't bring their groceries in, and so working with a community, with India, with the Hills, I don't want to miss anybody, with the community,
the coalitions,
the coalitions, Ben Cashaw, we put together a team to work on getting it. But the person who objected, the group, was the unions. I was surprised, right? So the unions say no and hell no. And they said no because they felt then their lower paid workers would have no place to park. And so we had to work together in order, and we now have still the only parking that for residential parking that in the city of Buffalo by working together. And if we're truly going to have real power, it's got to be by continuing to work together.
Absolutely. And I was in a conversation the other day, and that was the key point of, we have to understand, just everyone is not a master of everything. And where sometimes in our community where we get divided is when we come together as think tanks and to create a holistic agenda for our communities and our neighborhoods, we sometimes fail because if my passion is education, then I don't need to be telling housing folks how to do it. And if housing doesn't agree with the way education is doing it, I don't need to attack you. I just need to support you in getting those efforts done. And where we end up is, I don't like them, and they could be dealing with something totally different, but I don't like them, and then now we all just fall apart.
And now we fall apart.
And none of us get anything.
And that's so often, and our Atlanta market and our Buffalo market are so much different. But don't fool yourself. In Atlanta we have our share of problems with unity, but I think that because in the South, and especially when you talk about HBCUs and the mentality of working together is somewhat different than in the North, where people came here for jobs, purely for jobs. People who came to Buffalo, people who came upstate, they came for the steel plants, they came for those type of things. They didn't come, they weren't born and bred. And I'm talking about my father's age and my grandfather's age. They weren't born and bred up here. They came up here for bread and butter.
Absolutely.
That's what they came here for.
And I think how the Atlanta and the South are still together is because they had to stay together longer.
Absolutely.
Where you had the second, I think the second middle passage when everyone started coming north. You had those that were still dealing with not being able to vote, not being able with segregation on a much larger level than it was in the North.
Absolutely.
So they had to stick together and fight. Where it's almost like Juneteenth, where we were free, but those in Texas didn't find out for a while.
Absolutely.
So it was the same thing in the South. All of this freedom and civil rights was happening in the North, but once they pulled the military and the National Guard out of the South, black folk had to stick together.
We had to stick together, and us sticking together in the South, it has resonated in the Atlanta area, where you have multiple millionaires, where you have wealth, now everybody in Atlanta, now let me tell you this, is not rich, okay? There's a lot of people struggling in Atlanta, but you have more wealthy people in the South that was looked down upon. People in the North thought we were so advanced and so ahead, and we got all the music first before there was an internet. We got the information first, and now those tables have turned. Because you see a lot of our young people now saying, I'm going to the
going back
South.
south.
I'm going to the South where I have opportunity. I'm going to the South where it's not cold. I'm going to the South. And at the end of the day, when we look at Dr. King and we look at his legacy and we look at what he has had, especially for the Buffalo market, we need to be having a King Day every day. We need to be talking about unity every day, because still in this city, even with and I thank God for, the Bill Stadium and the agreement that was made, but we still don't have generational wealth like so many people do in the South.
Yep.
In the South, we still do not have generational wealth. We are still talking about being the first at something.
Yep.
Where in other areas, they've been the first, the second, the third, and the fourth generation.
Well, and I was in a conversation again last night, and where we failed, and again, and we're at a union event where we complained, and ever since I moved into Buffalo, being in the workforce development space and learning about procurement and everything else, where we struggle is the unions moved out of the urban city because the workers weren't there.
Yeah.
Where you have, like you said, the generations in certain communities. I'm an electrician because my daddy was an electrician, because my grandfather was an electrician. And then at some point, somebody started a firm, and now that's the family business.
That's the family business.
So now you have this groundswell of electricians in the family. I don't have to go out and find anybody.
Absolutely.
They're all in the family.
Absolutely.
And that's where some of our skills trades are suffering in the urban network, because my dad may have been a plumber or electrician, but I ain't doing that work.
Absolutely.
And honestly, and the person said, and I kind of agree with it, we started pushing people to college, and we started saying, oh, well, the skills is a downset, but the skills is a downfall. Go to college. And then so now when we're struggling with the building trades, it's because we push people to college, and now we have more nurses, we have more teachers, which is all well and good, but we lost our access to building trades.
Wow, that's powerful. And I totally agree. We've lost so much access, and now other folks are ahead. They're going like, we getting into AI, we getting in and beyond. We're getting into technology, because I saw the other day where a house was built all through computer, like concrete.
Yes.
And the same way you have a 3D printer.
Yep.
They are building houses, and that technology is only going to get better and better. And so now, if we're not already looking there, we're already behind. If we're still talking about, so many jobs, and we've talked about this before, are going to be gone. And so when we talk about the dream, okay, we can sit anywhere on the bus. Okay, we can go on a Carnival cruise.
Yep.
So, okay, we can do all of that.
Yep.
But what's next for us, and what is blocking us, I think, is a lack of information. I really believe that we get so lost, like Clyburn said.
Yep.
Now, again, I encourage people to go to hear this man speak. Like he said on this show, we get so distracted, and not only from the flashy things, but here locally, we get distracted on dumb things. I'm just going to say it. We get distracted on the dumbest things in the world. Across in the church community, think about the conversation for the last couple weeks.
2 weeks.
Two things. Been talking about somebody's wife's dress.
Yes.
We spent more time on a man's wife's dress than we did on addressing injustice.
That's a word right there. That's a word
we
by
spent
itself.
time on a dress and commenting and going to websites and pages. Let me tell you what I did. I put not interested. Every time it came up in my timeline, not interested. Because I'm not interested in that when I got people who can barely buy clothes.
Absolutely.
And we worried about a probably $5,000, $10,000 dress worn by somebody who was not our wife.
No.
I don't care. We spent time, and now the black church community is spending time on a comedian.
Yes.
On a comedian who they raised up and spoofed churches. So what? In Living Color did it for years.
I was getting ready to say.
Come on, run it.
Flip Wilson did it in the 50s.
Flip Wilson did it.
Richard Pryor did it in the 60s.
Come on, preach.
Martin did it in with
Preach,
David Allen Greer.
preach.
We've been doing it over and over and laughed at it.
We are concentrating on the wrong. I wish I
And they got it from somewhere.
Listen.
So, and people can hate Charlemagne the God on the Breakfast Club. He said it like this: if you hate Drewski, then hate the churches that gave him the material.
At the end of the day, I'm not sure why people are trying to be so deep about a comedian. But this is the point. We're distracted.
Absolutely distracted.
We're so much in the stuff that doesn't make any sense and doesn't make a difference.
No, and honestly, all of the talking they did just made Drewski more money.
Mark, honest to goodness, this morning I thought about it. I said that man is now. People gonna watch him. People who never heard of him. But what if that attention was on injustice? What if that attention was on situations? Deke, you better go get us a couple plates of whatever, because I don't care. You can even put some protein on it.
Yeah,
they must have another serving thing on the inside. Because they clean it up. So at the end of the day, we get so distracted that we're missing the greater point of I did send for some food. I did.
Shout out to the Foundry.
Shout out to the Foundry. So Deacon, he's a deacon at church. He got to go get us some food. Got to get us some plates, but he'll take care of it. I'll try to eat all the plant-based stuff. But if they got a wing over there, I'm gonna get me a wing. We might not get.
No, they're reducing.
They're reducing.
They're reducing it to one table.
Okay.
Sorry,
y'all.
It's lunchtime here.
Little back who was a big back who's still a big back.
We medium backs now.
At the end of the day, I do think that we get so distracted by what is going on that doesn't make a difference. That's not paying any bills. And we are right now. If now I think Dr. King would say I got a dream that we would stop being entertained and stop. Our purpose now is so much about entertainment that we are losing what is more important in our lives. We are, right now there's a cut I just read to SNAP benefits that's coming. There's a change in student loans that's coming. Who is that affecting? Like you just said, we've been pushed to go to college. Now we got all these loans, and at the end of the day, what do we have, especially in this area? If the millionaires you don't know about because they knew to be quiet and sit and don't say a daggone word.
Right.
What you got on
I was
Facebook?
going to say the comments are coming in. Katrina Martin says that's interesting because I don't seem to have that issue with most people in our community. We don't.
What she says? What's the first part of that?
That's interesting because I don't seem to have that issue with most people in our community. We don't do well being convinced to let people not from our community run our tables. Us is us. Janetta Reed said we struggle because we are in competition with each other. Janique was confirming that we spent too much time on the Drewski skit, and then people were saying the Drewski skit was hilarious. Knox Rose said one thing that during the Black Power movement was to go to college and get educated, but with the idea of utilizing that education to open your own business based on your education or trade.
Wow.
And I agree. And that if that was the goal, it was kind of like we accomplished it, and then we left our neighborhoods.
Absolutely.
And we was like, oh no, I'm going out to the suburban areas, and we didn't give back to our neighborhoods. Cynthia Camper said the young men that have the skills are not motivated because of distractions. Wow.
We are distracted, and we're distracted. I mean, you ask anybody what's hot on TikTok, they can tell you. A lot of people. I'm not going to say everybody. What's hot on Facebook? What's been said? What's all that? And let's be honest. I mean, for me, I like entertainment. I like laughing. I like all that. But at the end of the day,
there's a place for it.
There's a place for it, and entertainment should be something that is. We shouldn't be spending most of our time on entertainment and not on knowledge.
Absolutely.
So when you have a newspaper in a one, I told you, Atlanta Constitution is no longer even putting out a printed paper.
Text you. You know who just lost theirs too? Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's paper closed down.
So we're in an age where if you don't have access to internet, so we're not using many people, let me say this, are not using, it's on the way, Mark.
I was going to say, I don't know where.
Happy feelings in the air.
I was going to say, I don't know where those places come from.
That's a big bag. That means there's some food in there. They might be ready for me right now in there to speak.
Hallelujah.
But at the end of the day, if we are spending most of our time on entertainment. All right, D, you can put it right there. I'm going.
We gonna eat.
What time is it?
We got 12:40.
It's 12:40. We almost off the air. D, that plate looking good too. You go ahead, get you one.
Yeah, get you one, and then I'll find you a chair now.
we told the deacon who went got the food get one, and I see some salad on there. I see a few things.
Some greens.
I see.
Some,
Yeah.
There's a lot of green on this side.
This is probably what I'm getting paid. Is that food right here? This ain't church.
That's the old school. That's how they used to pay the preachers.
When I was in college, I was at Livingstone, and they would preach. You know, we go to little churches and preach, and they give you, they go take you and get you something to eat, and give you your bus fare back to Livingstone, and you might get $20.
Absolutely.
But I think that is important, because even here in Buffalo, you know, Lee Enterprises now owns the Buffalo News, and now I'm told that one of the wealthiest people in the nation now is the largest shareholder of Lee Enterprises, and that he owns several other newspapers. This just happened in the last couple of days.
Okay.
And that he has a propensity, allegedly, to allow the newspapers that he owns to have their way.
Okay.
I'm hoping, and they're trying to raise money for the Buffalo News, I'm hoping that the Buffalo News will continue to grow and to utilize its resources so that we can have more reporting that is accurate, more reporting that brings information to people.
And I hope they do something, because I was one of my supervisors was trying to find an article about something that was going on in the city. He was like, "Hey, do you still have access? I can't see it because of the paywall."
Absolutely.
I can't. So it's.
Hey, D, can you check? I'm sorry, everybody. Can you check and let them know when they're ready for me? I'm ready to come in and speak. Go ahead.
And so even when we try to have access, you have to have paid. You have to have paid subscriptions. You have to, so you fight this battle. It's like, I want information, so now I'm relegated to getting.
Let me say this: the Foundry is on it. The Foundry, we have the Foundry in Buffalo, New York, and they're bringing us water. They're being so kind. Rocco owns this building, right? Didn't he? Used to. He used to own the building. Yeah, Rocco owned the building. He's the one who did the work. But the Foundry is on it. Shout out to the Foundry for taking care of us live on the air and being so kind. I got to go in and speak in a minute. I was
going to say, we told you, if you're a lunch sponsor, you get the shout out. So you
right,
sponsor us.
All you got to do is invite us to your restaurant.
Absolutely.
Matter of fact, we need to do a live at Heaven's Countertop.
Yes,
we got to go over to Heaven's Countertop. We've been given the salad spot a solid.
Say, Ty, we coming.
So Ty, we coming over to Heaven's Countertop. But we cannot be so distracted that we don't know what's going on around us and what to fight for. Like we talked to Clyburn, and when Clyburn, we talked about the Republican agenda. When we talk about the Democratic agenda, it's still
have no idea.
It's not clear.
No, I have no Project 2026 in front of me.
No. We don't have a project, anything.
Right.
So we don't know right now. I mean, we know what to fight for in our communities, but nationally, we should be telling Tim Kennedy. We should be telling Gillibrand. We should be telling the representatives from Atlanta what it is that and I'm not talking about just anybody. I'm talking about African Americans.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I'm not beating around the bush. And those who feel that that's racist or that's separatist, no, it's the fact that there are still a group of people in this United States of America that suffer. It's the fact that there are still people who were brought over here against their will, who still do not have reparations in a way that makes us whole. And it's still a house, the White House, that still does not concentrate on the issues that affect us locally.
Right.
Locally.
Yes.
And I get it. Okay, you got rid of Venezuelan president, or you went and you kidnapped him. I don't know if is that my okay. No, okay. You got rid of Venezuela's president. You now trying to take over Greenland. We got stuff right here, but at the same time, you want repay student loans. You want to take away SNAP. We gotta be together.
We have to be together, and like you said, we're convicting. We're trying to convict the Venezuela president, and you want to call it narco terrorism. But the week before that, you pardon the Honduras leader.
Come on and preach, man.
Who was convicted of drugs.
Come on and preach.
Is this really about drugs?
Come on and preach.
Or is it, again, about the oil and the natural resources?
It's definitely about the oil.
Absolutely.
And the oil is about the money.
Yes. Absolutely.
So you talk about all the money that the United States made on tariffs. You talk about all the money, and hopefully the Supreme Court soon is about to rule against a president being able to just say, I'm going to tariff. You get a tariff, and you get a tariff, and you get a tariff, and that it should go through the House of Representatives.
Well, I'm just going to say, with this Supreme Court, good luck. We'll probably
know what?
We'll probably wait till for it to be overturned later, because I don't think they're going to do anything. And again, that's the system that we've talked about on the show, and it's been a long time, I'm sure, since one party has had the White House,
yes,
both houses of Congress,
yes,
and the Supreme Court, and that is not the goal that this country, this great experiment, this democratic experiment was supposed to be built on, because right now, we have no checks and balance.
None.
We have no one holding anybody accountable, and while we sit back and just kind of have to fight, to the point, like you just said, what are we fighting for?
What are we fighting for?
Because right now, we're just kind of going in our own circle, trying to figure things out.
Absolutely, and that's difficult. India Bani says, and access to information is a public good. Exactly. She says, she has a few comments. Do people know that the Buffalo News used to have a black woman? They certainly did, and they still have a black reporter. I know Deirdre is there. Right. I don't know who else is there.
I have no idea.
Rod Watson is gone, so I don't know who is. She's trying to get sponsors for her podcast, and
be
so
trying to steal ours.
Right? Yeah, don't take. Listen, advertise on your page. No, I'm just kidding.
You know what that's like when people go to somebody else's wedding and propose. I think that is the worst. Like, I think that is the worst thing you could do. How do you at my reception and go propose? Stealing the thunder.
Let me see. Knox Fro got a lot. He said, it's sad that our black leaders and movers and shakers only hold position or jobs that ultimately are controlled by other people. At the end of the day, most of our black leaders are not in position to control their own destiny because they work as politicians or careers in companies and organizations that black people do not own. Kamal says St. Anne's property has been sold to the Muslim community, New Buffalo Power Base. Well, Kamal, it's sold, but it's burned.
It's gone now.
It's burned. So at the end, but they are I agree with the power base right now, and some folk may be mad about it. You can be mad all you want to. At the end of the day, are they ready for me, D? Okay. They still got a long program? Okay. Wow. I guess I can finish out the show. I don't know what they're talking about in there, so I'm going to have to catch up. But at the end of the day, they are a power base, and the reason they are a power base is because economically they have put their money together.
Absolutely.
Now, when you go to Atlanta, when I'm in Atlanta, in the neighborhoods I'm in Atlanta, I don't see the same thing. Here I see it. Like, I don't see the same changes in Atlanta, and I'm sure it is. And it's about neighborhood based. In the neighborhoods and the haunts that I'm in, at the end of the day, I don't see that same situation in the Atlanta market that I see here. But they are, Buffalo for years had low rent, had reasonable housing prices. Not anymore.
Oh, not anymore.
Atlanta has already been out of the roof, and so you got to have money to be in Atlanta, in what people see as Atlanta. But here we are not. We are losing the power base.
And you're going to need money to live here soon. And
absolutely.
And the more we have urban flight and the transition of individuals in the power base, because I think one of the greatest things that people didn't realize that happened was Say Yes.
Yeah.
And so when you had Say Yes hit the city of Buffalo and Say
Yes pays for college for students if they attend Buffalo Public Schools
and now charters,
right? Exactly, and charters.
So now you had individuals and communities that were in the first ring and second ring suburbs. They saw that as an opportunity now to come back into the city and take advantage of Say Yes. And honestly, they look at, because there's 2-family homes that they see as a great investment, because like you said, the housing market was low. So you can get, if you look at a 2-family home, an investor is looking at, that's 6 to 8 bedrooms.
Yeah, absolutely.
We redo that, I can bring the whole family. Now I could take part and say yes.
Yes.
And so it's a great level of investment. And so when that all happens and we sell Big Mama's house because no one has the resources to fix it, no one can fix it, or nobody wants to.
And because most of Big Mama's family didn't move to Atlanta.
Yeah, in Charlotte and everywhere else. So now you end up with these homes and they're like, oh, I'll come and buy 50 and put 150 in it. And now I'm at 200,000, but now that house is worth 4 to 5.
Absolutely.
And so that's where we're losing. And like you said, the power base is flipping because of those reasons.
Absolutely. The power base is flipping, but we still have the people here. Unfortunately, and I know I sound like a broken record, we just don't have the unity here. And we're distracted by so many things. And so on this show, one of the things that we try to do is encourage people to get ahead of the learning curve, get ahead of where the economy is right now, get ahead, own what is around you, own your neighborhood. And even if you don't own, take care of your neighborhood. I think it was India who was on the show who was talking about, or somebody, showing up to meetings. You know, we just elected new people to our school board, but it's not going to make a difference if when they have an issue and they're calling on community support if they're by themselves. I've been there by myself. I've been on the Board of Education where the concentration was more on building than education.
Absolutely.
So we got new shiny buildings, but we have students that were barely making it through, barely on reading level. And I went there for that. And when I found out that it was more about contracts and more about buildings than it was about student education, but I didn't have the support. We have to learn how to show up. But if we don't know, we talked about the top shooter. I still don't know what the court schedule is for that.
No.
And if you notice, even the press has stopped looking at that as a top priority.
We find out the day after he was in court.
We find out afterward. And walking in the room right now is the majority leader of the state of New York Assembly, and it's wild because we were talking about her as she was in line, and we were talking about our fight for the fruit belt. Hey, baby, how are you? We're talking about our fight for parking in the fruit belt and how we work together. Yes. And when we talk about the dream and we talk about Dr. Martin Luther King, we got that done. The only one in the city of Buffalo, because we worked together. We got the lot cleaned up across from Trubethel. We work together. Yes. Where do you feel that we are? And I know we caught you off guard. I don't know who snagged you, but I'm glad they did. So we're live, of course.
I literally asked for you. I was getting a cup of tea. I seen my brother here and the deacon. I was like, where is he at?
I'm in the back doing the work. On air live, coming in there. I told them to give me the thumbs up when it's time for me to come in. Where do you see us as a people now, right now?
I see us in a place where our ancestors were when they were enslaved. Mm-hmm. I see us in a place where Dr. King was when he was fighting for our civil rights. Mm-hmm. I see us in a place that our ancestors went through Jim Crow. I see us in a place where we have to put together our survival skills just like they did. Mm-hmm. And I see us having the capacity to do that because they did. Yeah. And so I actually, the world is crazy, but I think we're in a good place.
Okay.
Because we're putting ourselves together in a unified way to take care of our community. I mean, I don't think the focus can always be on what government can do for you. I think it has to be on what can you do for yourself. Amen. And how can we take care of each other? So that's what I see.
So you see us in a better place, of course, and I do too, than where we were.
Absolutely.
What do you think, and then I guess I better go in since I am the keynote speaker. I have 8 minutes. What do you see, if you had to advise somebody, well, no, you do. Give advice right now to some young person of what's on the horizon, especially African American, and what we need to be concentrating on.
Well, I would say if you have had any focus at all on your history, you will know that your ancestors brought you a mighty long way. They didn't do that by sitting down and doing nothing and expecting somebody to do something for them. They did it by taking action. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna say to young people, you got to start taking action. Mm-hmm. You live in a community. You live on a block. Are you in the block club party? Mm-hmm. Do you go to block club events? Do you know who lives next door to you? Can you be of some assistance to your neighbors? I mean, I think we got to figure out how do we take care of ourselves, one, and two, how do we get in business? I think we got to focus
We
on
talked
business.
before you walked in here. That's what we talked about, owning.
Owning something. There is all sort of opportunities to be in business, and people need to start looking for that as opposed to looking to work for someone else.
So finally, and we were talking about St. Anne's, and you were getting your food.
No, that was on fire.
It was on fire. Now, here's my disappointment about St. Anne's. We fought hard trying to get the Roman Catholic Church to do something with the building, and your mom's house right across the street from it. Preservation, it seemed like, was almost silent. And I feel it's because of the neighborhood that St. Anne sat
I
in.
agree with you 100%.
If that church had been in any other neighborhood, it wouldn't have been in that condition.
It would not have been. So, in fact, my niece lives in my mother's house now. And I want to say it was 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning. She called me, Auntie, St. Anne's is on fire. And they turned off all of our power. I don't know if they even have power back on yet. So, it's unfortunate that people decide to leave their place of worship because the community changed. Well, if you're leaving your place of worship because of the community change, that doesn't mean that the diocesan doesn't have a responsibility to maintain the facility. They have not been maintaining it. There's no telling who was living in that school.
Absolutely.
The school is the one that caught on fire.
The school caught on fire.
Yeah, and it's just sad that our
That could have been
community is so
apartments.
disrespected.
That could have been affordable housing. At the end of the day, it was left in the condition it was in. It has now burned down, and I read this morning they have a permission to demolish it. So now
That's so sad.
another place demolished that could have been in our community. But at the end of the day, while we are being distracted about preachers' wives' dresses and about all kinds of stuff, we need to be concerned about our own neighborhoods and standing up and saying this is not going to be allowable. And no disrespect to the Roman Catholic Church, but you left it like that, like you left the one on East Ferry. And the preservationists who want to come out and tell somebody that we're going to preserve your house without your permission, you need to be looking at these larger buildings that are in our community that are being just neglected.
By the way, that building burnt and is going to be torn down, has a skating rink in it. I mean, I went skating.
I didn't know that.
It has a skating rink in it. It has a bowling alley in it and a gym. And people play bingo there for decades. So it really could have been transformed. It used to be a classroom. So it could have been transformed to apartments. But that did not happen because, as you mentioned, because of the community it was in, and no one wanted to invest in it. By the way, the Catholic Church is the one who should have invested in it.
I totally agree. You
They're the
built
ones that
it.
left it there vacant.
Absolutely.
Decades.
Absolutely.
It's their responsibility.
Absolutely. This is when we talk about power to the people. It's not sometimes the bigger national issues. You got to start at home. And we got to take care of home. And I want to thank you
That's the first
for
thing we
the
need to do.
work that you have done for decades for home. I remember the county legislator and other places, but it started even before then. It started in cleaning up parks. It started in taking care of our community before we worried about being public officials.
That's right.
And so I
think
want
we
to
need
thank
get
you.
back to that. And not whether we're elected or not, it's our responsibility to take care of our community.
Thank you. Listen, we got to get ready to go. I got to go in here and speak and do what I've been sent, what I came here to do. I got on my work clothes because my speech today is about keep your work clothes on, keep working, keep working. It's not about being cute. It's not about being fashion. It's about doing the work, putting in the work. And so I'm with the unions today. I'm with CWA, and who else are we have in there?
I think it's all of them.
We got the unions inside, and I'm just honored because Angela Blue is retiring, and she personally requested that I be here today to send out her last Martin Luther
There's
King
an amazing
program.
crowd in there. And
Well, it sounds like church
by
in
the way,
there.
we've had at least 2 keynotes already, so we look
Oh
forward to
Lord! So I'm under pressure. Crystal Peoples Stokes, our assemblywoman, our chair, our majority leader for the state of New York. Shout out to you. Listen, I gotta go. I gotta get ready to do the work. So, Mark, any closing words?
Listen, as we enter Dr. King's holiday, use it as a day of reflection, use it as a day to strategize. Collaborate with somebody that you normally wouldn't
Absolutely.
have those meetings, have those tough discussions, because that's what Dr. King would have did, and he would have wanted us to do. You have to do something to keep the dream alive.
Absolutely.
And because without a dream, we don't fight. Without a dream, you don't have hope. And so we have to keep dreaming, have to keep fighting, and I think that's where we need to be spending our time this week.
And let me say this to African Americans all over the world, all over the country: don't turn the dream into a nightmare. Whew. Until next week, power to the people.